Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating concept: how a nation's exact placement on the globe serves as the ultimate engine behind its entire destiny. We're going to dive deep into India, breaking down the specific numbers, the borders, and the sheer, breathtaking scale that turns it into an undeniable geographical powerhouse.
So let's dive right into this. Can a few invisible map coordinates actually dictate a nation's climate, culture, and ultimate global power? I know, it sounds like a pretty bold claim. When we think about how the modern world is forged, we usually think of it as being shaped entirely by people, right? Great leaders, traumatic revolutions, huge technological breakthroughs. But as we explore the data today, we're going to engage in a little thought experiment. You'll quickly see that the silent architect behind all of human history is actually geography. Geography basically deals the cards, and the people, well, they just play the hand they're dealt.
To find out exactly how this geographic destiny works, here's our roadmap. We'll pinpoint India's exact location, explore the wild effects of maintaining a single time zone, grasp the true scale of the subcontinent, map out its incredibly complex natural borders, and finally, see how this all perfectly aligns to make it a central hub for the world.
All right, jumping into Section 1, pinpointing India on the map, the precise coordinates.
The crucial starting point is that India lies precisely between latitudes 8 degrees 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north, and longitudes 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degrees 25 minutes east. Now, on the surface, I know those numbers might just sound like dry geographic jargon, but they represent the numerical blueprint of a sprawling, almost incomprehensibly diverse landmass. These exact coordinates lock the country into a journey, stretching all the way from the freezing, towering peaks of the Himalayas up north, sweeping right down through scorching deserts, all the way to the lush, tropical backwaters of the south.
Just as a quick refresher for our foundational geography, latitude lines run horizontally to measure north-south, and longitude lines run vertically for east-west. But we aren't just plotting points here, we're defining an extreme geographic stretch. It spans such an immense distance away from the equator that it creates a massive gradient of temperature, daylight, and atmospheric pressure. This specific grid placement is the literal reason why India experiences everything from sub-zero winters to blistering, humid summers. And this brilliantly illustrates our concept of geographic destiny in action. The Tropic of Cancer, sitting at 23 degrees 30 minutes north, physically divides the country almost perfectly in half. It creates a deeply tropical region to the south and a subtropical region to the north. This isn't just trivia. This invisible line dictates an entirely different reality depending on where you stand. Imagine a farmer just north of this line relying on totally different crop cycles, experiencing different seasonal weather patterns, and even developing different regional diets. Compared to someone living just a few hundred miles south, the coordinate literally dictates the culture.
Now, let's zoom out a bit for Section 2, the power of one time, binding a massive nation.
Because India stretches so incredibly wide from east to west, spanning almost 30 degrees of longitude, the sun behaves completely differently on opposite sides of the country. I want you to imagine this perspective shift. Picture waking up in the far northeast with the sun already high in the sky and the morning half over, while your colleagues on the western coast are still drinking their coffee in absolute pitch darkness. Yet despite this massive solar discrepancy, you are both clocking in at 9 a.m. Why? Because everyone in the nation sets their watch to a single standard meridian, 82 degrees 30 minutes east.
This central coordinate passes right near the city of Mirzapur, and by basing Indian Standard Time on this specific line, the country establishes a vital, non-negotiable tool for administrative unity. Think about the logistical nightmare of running a country of over 1 billion people without a unified time zone. India operates one of the largest, most heavily utilized railway networks on planet Earth. Trying to coordinate those thousands of massive trains alongside modern financial markets across multiple local solar times, absolute chaos. This single time zone acts as an invisible glue.
Speaking of a massive population and size, let's look at the sheer physical scale we're dealing with in Section 3, scale of the subcontinent.
You'll often hear the region referred to not just as a country, but as the Indian subcontinent. Think of a subcontinent as kind of like a geographical VIP section. It's a large, distinct part of a broader continent that has its own separate physical features and distinct cultural identity. India is literally walled off by majestic natural fortresses. The highest mountain ranges in the world guard the north, and vast, deep oceans insulate the south. This allowed a completely distinct, largely self-contained ecosystem to evolve over thousands of years.
To truly grasp this scale, we start with 3.28 million square kilometers of total area. It's a number so large, it's kind of hard to visualize, right? Well, to put this in perspective, imagine taking almost the entirety of Western Europe and just dropping it right within these borders. You're encompassing towering frozen peaks, scorching deserts, incredibly dense tropical forests, and sprawling river plains, all under one singular national identity.
That staggering square mileage makes India the 7th largest country in the entire world. And this immense size is the direct cause of India's incredible internal diversity. A larger footprint means a wider variety of environments, which directly translates to vastly different economic opportunities. For instance, the sprawling coastal city of Mumbai acts as a massive global maritime trading and financial hub, while the mountainous regions of Himachal Pradesh drive an economy deeply rooted in high-altitude agriculture and specialized tourism. It's essentially several distinct national economies operating within a single border.
And wrapping around this massive continental area is a land boundary stretching a whopping 15,200 kilometers. Let's really think about the weight of that colossal number. Imagine driving completely across the United States from coast to coast, and then turning around and doing it 3 more times. That is the sheer physical reality of the border India has to manage. Securing, defending, and building infrastructure across 15,200 kilometers of shared earth requires a massive national effort.
Let's see how this massive border shapes the geopolitical neighborhood in Section 4, Neighbors and Natural Borders.
When you map out the bordering nations, you aren't just looking at a list of countries. You're looking at an immense geopolitical pressure cooker and the ultimate crossroads of culture and trade. India sits centrally among East, West, Central, and Southeast Asia. By sharing borders with everyone from China and Pakistan to Myanmar and Bangladesh, and maintaining close maritime proximity to Sri Lanka and the Maldives, India is positioned as the anchor of the entire region. Anything that happens economically, politically, or environmentally in this neighborhood directly impacts India and vice versa.
Comparing that 15,200-kilometer continental land boundary to its 7,516-kilometer coastline reveals an incredibly rare strategic advantage. It means India gets the best of both worlds. It has one foot deeply planted into the massive Asian landmass, guaranteeing access to overland continental trade routes. But it also possesses a massive coastline that opens directly into vital global waters. Very few nations on Earth boast such extensive dual access to both hard land borders and major world-shaping oceanic shipping lanes.
Let's expand our view one final time to see India's grandest scale, bringing us to Section 5, a hub for the world.
India's destiny is heavily shaped by water. The peninsula boldly juts out, flanked by 3 massive bodies of water: the Arabian Sea to the west, the Bay of Bengal to the east, and the vast Indian Ocean to the south. But these aren't just scenic coastlines for resorts. These waters are massive, relentless climatic engines. They team up to generate the South Asian monsoon, a seasonal weather system so powerful it fundamentally dictates the agricultural survival of over 1 billion people. These waters feed the nation, and they act as absolute superhighways for international trade.
Because of this geographic duality, India's historical path as a global powerhouse was set in stone millennia ago. It was historically connected over land to the ancient Silk Route, but it also completely commanded the historic sea routes. Imagine bustling ancient ports moving incredibly valuable goods like black pepper, rich spices, and fine textiles across the Indian Ocean to the Roman Empire and beyond. Long before modern container ships, this geography made it a natural, unavoidable hub for global trade, generating a wealth and exchange of ideas that really shaped human civilization.
So, as we weave all these points together from our explainer, we see the profound compounding effect of geography. India's exact placement on the globe forges a superpower. The specific coordinates mandate its diverse climates. The massive, subcontinent-level size drives its complex, multi-tiered economy. Its varied landscape forces deep cultural diversity, and its unique positioning with access to both land and sea secures an undeniable global strategic importance that continues to dictate international relations today.
As we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with a question to deeply challenge how you view the world moving forward. Next time you look at a map, ask yourself, are we shaping the borders, or are the borders actually shaping us? Are those just arbitrary, invisible lines, or are they the vital underlying scaffolding of human history, culture, and destiny? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.